It depends is the answer. You'll hear me say that a lot in here. It's kind of situational. In general, as adults, women tend to have a little bit less water than men have. That in part is because women tend to have a higher body fat percent than men have, everything else being equal. Also, as we get older, because of an increase in the production of fat in women and muscle in men, there is a change in body fat percentage from an infant to an adult. You can see that infants, males and females, are about the same through childhood, but then as we start entering puberty, because of an increase in muscle mass in males and an increase in adipose deposition in females, there's this kind of change in the amount of water. But still, it's still a lot of water, right? I mean, on average, here, we're more than 50% water in our bodies. And so that's a lot of water. And it is distributed, as we mentioned before, in those 3 different compartments. This change here is, again, due to an increase in adipose in females through puberty and a loss of muscle mass as we get older. This is due to an increase in muscle mass here, this loss of water here, more muscle, less fat in males, so less water here, and then a loss of muscle mass down through here as we get older is why relatively we see that change in body fat percent here. So it really just varies. It's not a big deal, right? Except that obviously water is our most common compound, and depending upon age, gender, and body fat composition, you can have drastically different amounts of water. We mentioned already that most of the fluid is intracellular here. In fact, about 2/3 of the fluid is inside of cells, only about 1/3 of it outside of cells. You only really have about 2.5 liters or so of fluid as blood plasma. The rest of the extracellular fluid is all in interstitial fluid, right? Everything else in between cells everywhere in the body. So this is how that is distributed. What changes really mostly when we saw the previous slide and we saw how different percentages based upon age and gender and whatever, this is the part that changes the most. We all have roughly about the same, if we have roughly the same number of cells, the same amount of intracellular fluid. This just varies based upon body size, how much blood plasma you have. This is the one that varies depending upon body composition. Doesn't really matter. Now, let's talk about the movement of water across a cell membrane. Okay. I'm going to give you if you've had this taught to you before, I'm going to give you kind of the simple textbook